Welcome, dear listener, to this journey of discovery, the science of mindfulness, how it rewires your brain. For centuries, mindfulness was considered a spiritual practice, rooted in the teachings of the Buddha and embraced by seekers of wisdom. Yet today, modern science confirms what ancient masters intuitively knew. Mindfulness does not only calm the heart, it transforms the brain itself. In the next hour, we will travel together through science and spirit. We will explore how mindfulness changes brain structures, reshapes emotions, and opens the door to resilience, peace, and compassion. And as we learn, we will also pause for short practices moments to taste the reality of mindfulness not only as theory, but as living experience. Before diving into neuroscience, let us begin with the most important question. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is often described as present moment awareness. It is the ability to pay attention, on purpose, in the present moment, without judgment. It may sound simple, yet it is profoundly transformative. When we practice mindfulness, we are training the mind to stay here and now. Instead of being lost in regrets about the past or worries about the future, mindfulness anchors us in this very breath, this step, this sensation. The Buddha compared the untrained mind to a monkey, jumping restlessly from branch to branch. Mindfulness tames this monkey, not by force, but by gentle awareness. But mindfulness is not only a spiritual idea. In modern psychology, mindfulness is recognized as a scientifically validated practice that reduces stress, improves concentration, and fosters emotional well-being. It is not about escaping reality, but about meeting it fully with clarity and compassion. Consider this. How many times today have you eaten without tasting, or walked without noticing the sky above you? This is the ordinary absence of mindfulness. When we bring awareness back, suddenly even a sip of water, a deep breath, or the sound of birds becomes vivid and alive. Mindfulness restores the richness of life. Mindfulness, then, is both ancient and modern, both spiritual and scientific. It is a bridge between wisdom and neuroscience, between tradition and research. In the next chapter, we will explore what happens inside the brain when mindfulness is practiced. When we hear the word mindfulness, we often think of peace, calmness, and spiritual practices. But over the last 3 decades, science has stepped in to explore what actually happens in the brain when we practice mindfulness, and the discoveries have been nothing short of remarkable. Neuroscience has revealed that mindfulness is not only a mental exercise but also a biological transformation. It literally rewires our brain. One of the most groundbreaking findings in modern neuroscience is the concept of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change, adapt, and form new neural connections throughout life. In the past, scientists believed the brain was fixed after a certain age, but now we know every thought, every habit, and every practice we repeat reshapes the brain's structure. Mindfulness meditation, in particular, strengthens pathways of awareness, compassion, and emotional regulation, while weakening patterns of fear, stress, and reactivity. Imagine the brain as a forest of pathways. Every time we act or think in a certain way, it's like walking the same trail. Over time, that trail becomes wider and easier to follow. Mindfulness helps us create new, healthier trails, and gradually, the old destructive trails grow over and fade. Research using fMRI brain scans shows that mindfulness influences several crucial regions of the brain. Prefrontal cortex, the seat of decision-making, attention, and self-control. Mindfulness strengthens this area, giving us more clarity and the ability to pause before reacting. The brain's alarm system that triggers fear and anger. Mindfulness calms the amygdala, reducing stress and emotional overreactions. Hippocampus, the memory and learning center. Mindfulness boosts its density, helping us store positive experiences and learn more effectively. anterior cingulate cortex, ACC, involved in regulating attention and emotions. Mindfulness enhances its function, allowing smoother emotional balance. This means that mindfulness is not just a feel-good idea. It is physically reshaping the brain to make us calmer, wiser, and more resilient. Numerous studies support these findings. For example, a famous 2011 study at Harvard showed that after just 8 weeks of mindfulness practice, participants had increased gray matter density in regions related to learning, memory, and emotion regulation. Another study by neuroscientist Dr. Sarah Lazar revealed that long-term meditators had brains that appeared younger than their actual age, as if mindfulness slowed down the aging process of the brain. When we bring mindfulness into daily life, we are not only calming our minds, but also strengthening the very wiring of our brain. Think about it this way. Every mindful breath is like a tiny workout for the brain. Over time, those workouts accumulate, making the brain stronger in compassion, patience, and awareness. So, mindfulness is not only about feeling good in the moment, it is about long-term transformation, creating a brain that supports peace, resilience, and wisdom. Emotions are the colors of human life. Joy, sadness, fear, anger, and love, they paint the canvas of our existence. Yet many of us feel overwhelmed by emotions, as if they control us rather than the other way around. Mindfulness does not erase emotions. Instead, it teaches us to relate to them differently with awareness, compassion, and wisdom. In this chapter, we will explore how mindfulness reshapes our emotional world, bringing balance and resilience. Anxiety is like a restless wind. It stirs the mind and prevents peace. When we practice mindfulness, we gently anchor ourselves in the present moment. Research shows that mindfulness reduces activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, allowing us to observe fear without being consumed by it. Instead of spiraling into what-ifs, we return to what island. Like a monk sitting calmly by a rushing river, we learn to remain steady even when the waters of fear flow strongly. Anger burns hot, like fire consuming dry wood. Left unchecked, it harms both ourselves and others. Mindfulness cools anger by bringing awareness to the body, the tightening chest, the quickened breath, the heated face. With one mindful breath, we create a pause between impulse and action. Buddhism teaches that anger is a temporary visitor. By observing it without judgment, we stop feeding the fire. Over time, anger transforms into patience and understanding, like a lotus rising from muddy water into pure beauty. Sadness often feels heavy, like carrying a stone in the heart. Many try to avoid it, but mindfulness invites us to sit gently with sorrow. When we bring compassionate awareness to sadness, we see it not as an enemy, but as a teacher. Neuroscience shows that mindfulness increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, which helps regulate mood. Slowly, sadness softens. It becomes less of a burden and more of a reminder of our shared humanity. A monk once said, "Tears are holy water, cleansing the heart." Mindfulness is not only about calming difficulties, it is also about opening the heart to joy. By noticing the simple wonders, the fragrance of a lotus, the sound of birds at dawn, we rediscover gratitude. Studies show that mindfulness increases dopamine and serotonin, the brain's happiness chemicals. Gratitude shifts the mind from scarcity to abundance. Joy arises not from chasing more, but from seeing clearly what is already here. Like sunlight filling a temple hall, joy spreads quietly, yet powerfully. Life brings storms, yet mindfulness gives us the resilience to bend without breaking. By observing emotions with calm presence, we build an inner refuge. Neuroscience reveals that long-term mindfulness practice thickens the anterior cingulate cortex, which strengthens emotional regulation. Practitioners describe it as an unshakable peace, like a bamboo grove swaying gracefully in the wind. Mindfulness allows us to move with life's challenges without losing our roots. Mindfulness does not suppress emotions. It transforms our relationship with them. Fear teaches us to breathe. Anger teaches us patience. Sadness teaches us compassion. Joy teaches us gratitude. In mindfulness, every emotion becomes a teacher pointing us toward freedom. The Buddha said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." May mindfulness help you find peace in every emotion, and may your heart become vast like the sky, holding everything, rejecting nothing. Relationships are the mirror in which we see ourselves most clearly. They bring us love, joy, and belonging, but they also bring conflict, misunderstanding, and pain. Mindfulness allows us to enter relationships with greater awareness, compassion, and presence. Instead of reacting with old patterns, we pause, breathe, and listen. When we practice mindfulness with those we love, our attention becomes a gift. Truly listening to a friend without distraction is an act of love. Looking into the eyes of a partner with full presence is nourishment for the heart. Every mindful moment creates a bridge of trust and healing. The Buddha taught that understanding is the foundation of love. Without understanding, love easily turns into attachment or expectation. With mindfulness, we see the suffering behind another person's anger, the fear behind their silence, the longing behind their words. When we see deeply, compassion naturally arises. Mindfulness also protects relationships from the storms of conflict. Instead of shouting, we breathe. Instead of judging, we ask. Instead of turning away, we stay present. These small shifts transform arguments into dialogues, distance into connection. Ultimately, mindfulness reminds us that relationships are not about control, but about presence. We cannot change another person, but we can bring our clarity, patience, and compassion into the space between us. And in that space, love grows. Mindfulness is not limited to meditation cushions or silent retreats. Its true power shines in the middle of daily life, in the way we walk, eat, work, and love. Every moment of ordinary life is an opportunity to practice presence. When we wash the dishes mindfully, the warm water and gentle soap bubbles become a meditation. Walking to work, we can notice the ground beneath our feet, the breath flowing in and out, and the sky above us. Even waiting in line can become a moment of peace when we simply breathe and smile. The Buddha taught that peace is every step. This means mindfulness is not something we wait to experience in the future. It is available now, in the simplest actions. Drinking a cup of tea, we can feel the warmth in our hands, the fragrance rising, and gratitude filling our heart. In relationships, mindfulness means giving our full attention to others. At work, it means being present with one task instead of rushing to many. In eating, it means tasting food deeply instead of consuming unconsciously. By bringing mindfulness into daily life, stress decreases, joy increases, and every ordinary act becomes extraordinary. Slowly, life itself becomes a meditation, not an escape from reality, but a deep embrace of it. Mindfulness does not only touch the mind, it also transforms the body. Modern science and ancient Buddhist wisdom both point to the same truth. When we live mindfully, our physical health flourishes. Stress is often called the silent killer. It weakens the immune system, raises blood pressure, and accelerates aging. But mindfulness acts as an antidote. By calming the nervous system, slowing the breath, and softening tension, mindfulness lowers stress hormones such as cortisol. Medical studies show that mindfulness meditation reduces chronic pain, improves sleep quality, and even strengthens the heart. It supports the immune system, helping the body resist illness. Hospitals around the world now teach mindfulness to patients with cancer, heart disease, and chronic conditions. But beyond science, the lived experience is simple and profound. When we are mindful, the body feels lighter, muscles relax, breathing deepens, and energy flows freely. A mindful walk in the park can lower blood pressure as effectively as medication. A few conscious breaths can ease a headache or calm an anxious heart. The Buddha taught that body and mind are not separate. To care for the mind is to care for the body. When we eat mindfully, the body digests better. When we rest mindfully, the body heals faster. When we move mindfully, whether in walking or yoga, the body regains balance and strength. True health is not only the absence of disease, but the presence of harmony. Harmony between body and mind, between breath and movement, between self and the world. Mindfulness invites us into this harmony. Through practice, we begin to see that every cell in the body responds to awareness. Our smile, our breath, our calmness are not just mental states but physical medicine. In this way, mindfulness becomes one of the most natural and powerful forms of healing. Relationships are the heart of human life. Whether with family, friends, partners, or even strangers, the quality of our relationships shapes our happiness. Mindfulness, when practiced in daily connections, becomes a bridge of compassion, understanding, and love. Too often, we listen without really hearing, or speak without truly thinking. Misunderstandings arise not from malice, but from the absence of presence. Mindfulness invites us to return to the moment, to be fully there with another person, not distracted, not judgmental, but open and kind. When we look into the eyes of another with mindfulness, we see their humanity, their joys, and their struggles. A mindful smile, a pause before replying, or a deep breath before reacting, these small acts can transform conflict into connection. The Buddha taught that true love has 4 elements: loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Mindfulness nourishes each one. It teaches us to love without clinging, to care without burning out, to rejoice in others' happiness, and to remain steady in the face of change. Science, too, confirms this. Studies show that mindfulness improves empathy, strengthens bonds, and reduces conflict in marriages, workplaces, and communities. Couples who meditate together report deeper intimacy. Families that practice mindful meals share more laughter. Teams that pause for a mindful breath collaborate with greater trust. But most importantly, mindfulness heals the relationship we have with ourselves. When we accept our own imperfections with gentleness, we are less likely to judge others harshly. Self-compassion becomes the foundation for compassion toward others. To live mindfully in relationships is to see each interaction as sacred. Each word, each gesture, each silence carries the potential to heal or to hurt. By choosing mindfulness, we choose healing. We choose love. Mindfulness is more than a practice. It is a way of living with peace, compassion, and clarity. If today's reflection has brought you even a moment of calm, imagine what we can discover together on this journey. I invite you to subscribe to Buddha's Path to Peace, so that each week we can continue to walk side by side, learning the timeless wisdom of the Buddha and bringing more harmony into our lives. May peace be with you.